All right, guys, today we're going to be talking about cross-training. Is it good for you? Is it bad for you? Does it make you a creonch? Guys, my name is Bill Jones. I'm the head instructor of top-level martial arts in beautiful downtown Cuyahoga Falls, coming at you from Bellingham, Washington today with my good friend, David Porter. You are watching Professor's Corner. Guys, as we talk and banter back and forth, please do me a favor. Leave your comments. Make sure to look up David on the internet and, help further his celebrity.
Harass me. Keep me humble.
David, what do you think? Cross-training. I mean, a lot of people do it. What are your thoughts on it?
I think cross-training is one of the most important things we could possibly do. You don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. But together, we can do some incredible stuff, right?
Sure.
So when we were in Brazil together, we got the chance to work with each other, with guys like Dan Barry and other talented people coming out of the woodwork, and it was amazing. If that could happen on a regular, how awesome would we all be?
Oh, it'd be phenomenal.
Right? So this is the problem. We have a lot of issues based on older instructors that had their dogmatic practices, and they didn't want to have their students running off and joining another academy because they didn't have the answers, and they were too proud to cross-train themselves. So then, rather than say, I don't have the answers, you might find them over here, they're like, oh, no, you just don't go train there. You have to show loyalty to me. And all this BS just gets propagated and just keeps rolling over on itself until eventually we start to believe, if I go somewhere else, I'm disloyal.
It's like culty shit.
It is cult. It is a cult. So, first off, creonch comes from a Portuguese comedy sitcom.
It's like a sitcom, yeah.
And the guy is kind of a scumbag. And so, first off, you're basically saying your student's a scumbag for cross-training. That's crazy. That person is trying to better themselves with stuff that you could not provide for them. Or maybe it's not even that you couldn't provide it. It's that they just want additional training. Cool. I know I have a limited gas tank for how much jiu-jitsu I can do in a week. I don't want to be bending over backwards to do more hours on the mat than I already do. And if that student really finds that time, or they're traveling, go do it. More jiu-jitsu is better. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people though they don't cross train. I've met people, and you and I were talking about this offline. I've met people who will quit where they are because they saw something cool that someone else did, and it's I don't get it. I don't understand that. Especially if you've gotten to a decent level where you are, why would you quit? I don't know any school in my area. I can't think of any school that any of my students couldn't drive to or whatever on an open mat, or even often call and say, hey, can I get a private lesson, or whatever it is, that they would say no. I know every instructor within 25 miles of my school, and we don't hang out all the time, but we're on a good basis. We're not. I never look and say, yeah, that guy, don't train with him or whatever. They all have their things they do, but you talked a little bit to your class earlier about you should still have a home though, rather than just quitting at this place to go train at that place and then quitting at that place to go train there. That doesn't make sense either to me.
No. It's also a matter of consistency versus frequency, right? I have students that tell me they can't come to the academy more than twice a week. I was like, cool, just don't miss a week. Mm-hmm. Because consistency beats out frequency. If you make 2 classes a week every week, then in a year, you have 104 classes. Congratulations. That's enough for most of us brand new people to go from day one rookie to now you're on the cusp of your blue belt, right? Just in a year being a casual. Now, before you switch from being one of the normals into one of the jiu-jitsu diehards, just start there, right? But then you get the guys that get that blue belt itch right away, and now they want to take every class, and they're there 5, 6, 7, however many classes you offer in a week, and they do it all in a row, and then they're gone the next 2 weeks. And then you do the math, and you're like, listen, if you had just done 3 classes all 3 weeks, you would have the same number. So it's important to understand cross-training is important, but people need to just be consistent. And where do you find consistency? Your home gym, your home academy.
Yeah.
That is the consistent one. You cross-train either in the empty space where there might not be a class, or in your travels to fulfill that need. But have a basis. the people that have that mindset, like, oh, the grass is greener on the other side. Hell no, it isn't. It's greener where you water it, right? So if you didn't put in the work here, the chances of you going somewhere else and putting in the work, 0, right? Like, I don't want to hear that bullshit. You're not going to sell me on the idea that, well, if I just go to Atos, no. You go to Atos, you're going to get smoked because you have no work ethic, right? If you can't show the instructor you started with, like, that you've outgrown their facility, what's going to happen when you actually go to like a big box retailer, right?
Yeah.
You're going to get absolutely housed.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was telling you, I know a guy, and I've seen it a few times where guys are like, oh yeah, because I've seen them bounce around. Like they would train this place for a year, and then like go over here and train for a year, and then go over there and train for 2 years. And it's like the next time, anytime a coach said something that they thought was mildly helpful to them, they quit where they were and went to that coach's gym. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like that guy's just trying to help you. It doesn't mean that, and maybe what happens is you find out, oh, that guy had that piece of advice to help me, but the rest of it was stuff I'd already knew or was already decently good at. Like, and what'd you do? You kind of screwed over the place you were at to jump ship. And I think the best thing you said there about the grass is greener where you water it is probably the most important of that. Like, you're not going to get better just because you go to a different school, and that one guy, I remember having a conversation with him. I was like, why do you jump around so much? And he was like, oh, because I want to be world class. And I looked at him and I was like, no, you don't. And he's like, what? And I said, well, if you wanted to be world class, you instead of jumping around in Northeast Ohio, you'd probably go out to California or over to New York City, where arguably 3 of the best gyms in the academy or in the world are. You're not doing any of that. You're just bouncing around between local schools. Who you're going to get good, but like, what happens? You sit at belts longer, and not that belts are everything, but like, I mean, who do you want to be? You want to be the purple or the blue belt crushing all the other blue belts, or you want to be the purple belt who's learning in the purple belt division? And I'd rather be learning than be the top of a small mound. I don't know. It's just the way I am.
But that's a different aspect to it. And I don't want to knock on the people that want to be world class. I knew what my threshold was, and I lovingly say that I was the best tier 2 grappler when I was competing actively. Like, I'd never made that breakthrough and won like a world title, but it's like I had so many top matches with guys that have won the worlds, beat a few of them, lost to most of them, right? And it's like, I see where my place was, and I respect that. But I also remember when Ryan Hall was having his fight for his contract with the UFC. So if you don't remember that season, Ryan lost the decision in the semifinals, but then the opponent who was going to go to the finals, both opponents ended up not being able to have matches with each other. So Artem Lobov gets a call back and Ryan Hall gets a call back, and now the 2 guys who were not supposed to be in the finals are having the finals match. Mm-hmm. So now Ryan's kind of in this process of he's constantly ready, but he wasn't ready for that level of fight. So he's getting ready to put on his camp, and he's calling up all kinds of extremely talented people. Because if you can't physically go to all of those places, the next best thing is bring them all to you.
That's why seminars are so important.
Absolutely. And I remember looking around this room, and you had, not just Ryan Hall and Seth Smith, like Seth being Ryan's first black belt, who we just had out for a seminar. Seth is incredible. But you had those 2 guys. You had Riley Bodycomb, one of my other good friends and heroes, Justin Rader, Jonathan Thomas, Tan and Vin Lee, Ayman Zahabi, Faraz Zahabi, you know that guy from TriStar, some of the other TriStar cats. And he was cross-training with Wonderboy Thompson. He was doing like karate style striking. And so I'm looking around this room, and I got an invite based on parameters, right? Like, I am the build of Artem Lobov. I'm a southpaw. I have some striking background, and I was local, and there you have it. I knew my place. And I'm looking around the room, and I'm like, I am the least talented person in this room. And that is an incredible realization to come to. Because if you're not checking yourself constantly saying, like, can I grow, or what am I here for? Like, where am I in this pecking order? You might have a false sense of it. right?
Yeah,
like some
absolutely.
people think like they're way better than they are, or they don't think well enough of themselves to be at that level. But first and foremost, I got a call. I'm in this room. So I know I'm somewhere in this mix. But I do know I was at the bottom of that, right? So, I fulfilled my role. Ryan won his match. He did incredibly well. And then has subsequently had, wins against Gray Maynard and BJ Penn. And he has another match coming up soon. And it's all going to be great. But that, to me, was phenomenal because I was training at Master Sowers in Herndon. But at the time, in that era, it was still in Sterling. And I would make the commute to Falls Church to train at 50-50. And I would go there for Riley Bodycomb seminars, Jeff Glover seminars, whoever they would have in, or just train with Ryan whenever I could, which wasn't as much as I could have made it, but it was great and eye-opening, and it did a lot for my game. Along the way, I made a good friendship with this guy, Tommy Zarita, who is like a hidden gem in the jiu-jitsu community. The only guy I've ever seen get promoted to brown belt, and on the day he's a brown belt, I called him a sandbagger, because he was a purple belt just beating every black belt at Pedro's. And he's just phenomenal at jiu-jitsu. And he trains at 50-50, and he's just a guy there. He's never going to go out and compete. He's never going to be a world beater. But we know these people that have no desire to go there and just get great jiu-jitsu. And how did Tommy do it? Kept his head down, did the work. And now here's a guy who gives me fits. Like,
Consistent.
he's consistent. And that's really all it comes down to. So yes, you should cross-train. Yes, you should go to seminars. You should try to pick up everything you can. I say that you should be a generalist before you're a specialist. So at blue belt, you should get breadth, and then at purple belt and beyond, you get depth. And then you also isolate, and you just start knocking some stuff off and really focus. But along the way, the key recipe to that is just good work ethic by being consistent.
Awesome. David, I appreciate you having you on here.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much. Guys, do me a favor. I hate this part. I always got to ask you, like, share, subscribe, comment below, whatever else I'm supposed to say to help make the YouTube algorithm happy. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, go cross-train, and the grass is greener where you water it.